Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Mina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. Thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today we will be joined by MR, who will be joining us any minute. He's caught a bit in the traffic, he said, so he should be here within a few minutes. And so, what are we going to discuss today? It's going to be all about the National Herald. Now, let me just show you some pictures as we wait for MR. So, if you had been following what was happening in the news, you would see that Congress had all completely changed to black clothes to show protest. Here you see the brother and the sister. We don't know what they're exchanging, and both of them look very tired, old, and almost reconciled to their fate. Here you see Priyanka Gandhi, jumping over the obstacles to come to the other side, and she thinks it's an act of bravado, while we all know that they're trying to divert from the main cause, which is the huge National Herald scam, which points towards money laundering. Here you'll see that she's just sat down in protest and she is trying to arm twist the policeman's hat. I don't know whether it's a policeman or a policewoman, but see how cunningly she's trying to twist his or her arm. There's something very weird about this lady, the way she, functions. Here you see that they're trying to push the LPG cause, saying that the LPG has become very expensive and things pointing towards, inflation and how, that is a cause. And here you have the very lady herself joining the protest that we are talking about, Sonia Gandhi, who has caused us so much trouble, who has put the country into jeopardy over these years, driven our country into poverty and had scams galore. Here you see she's standing in front and protesting. Her son is at the back, Rahul Gandhi. So this is the sort of protest there done today. And what I don't understand is that why are they protesting and calling it a satyagraha when they know that they are being questioned rightfully by the ED because they are involved in a huge scam and they have to be questioned and they have to have the answers for it. So it's very surprising that they refuse to do it, and on top of that they send their whole Congress brigade, out of which many people don't even know what they are protesting for. So it's quite an amusing, you know, amusing. In fact, the whole of the mainstream media has been covering this today. All these reactions are expected, Meenaji. The Gandhis in the Congress are worse than any 90s Bollywood film. Pathetically predictable. Yes. So as we're waiting for MR, he said he'll be here in a minute or two. Let me just take a few comments. Even Amitabh, Shilpa, Aishwarya, Raj Kundra, all should be taken action on for money laundering and other illegal stuff. Yes. Look at them wearing black and all. What nonsense. Jeevan. Good evening, Veena. Zoya. Welcome, Zoya. Full on Gandhi siblings. Now Turkey today. Yes. But this is the scene that has really made me laugh. Drama, she and her brother both act weirdly. In fact, Rahul Gandhi looks almost stoned. Ulta chod kotwal ko rante. Yes. Meera. Good evening, Meera. Corrupt on all sides. Yes. Hope Dr. B. Yes, he should be joining within a few minutes. They always do these stunts. Absolutely. Thank you, Martin, for supporting us always. Gloria, no one is above the law. Yes. Welcome, Karthik. The mother and son should be dealt with according to their wrongdoings. Welcome, Ria. Welcome, Uma. I didn't know that. Metal films. Namaste from the Candid family. Smita, never. They'll be helped by the authorities to escape overnight in the dark of the night. Himani? I think, Himani, we should just ignore the trolls or block them. That's it. Because trolls will be always there in each channel. So don't worry about that. We'll handle them. Welcome, Veena. What a drama at Parliament today. It was humorous to watch Chidambaram and his son responding to Republic. Welcome, Caroline. They think they'll get through with their jokers protesting for them. Welcome, Tripura. Welcome, Devanushi. So nice to see you. Thank you, Karthik and Martin. Yes, I think MR has just joined us. Let me just add him.
I'm sorry, Mina, got stuck
No,
up
no,
in it.
that's fine. That's fine, MR. So what I was doing meanwhile, when
Yeah.
before you joined, was
Yeah.
I was just showing them pictures of what happened today. Uh, so what were the siblings up to? You
Men
know,
in Black.
yes, men in black, yes, jumping the obstacles, twisting the arm of the police officer deliberately, showing the gas cylinder as an inflation,
Mm,
and of course the queen herself, Sonia Gandhi, protesting,
mm.
and then you have the mother and the son, all in black.
Okay.
So these are some of
Good.
the scenes that we have all witnessed
Mm,
tonight.
yeah.
Yeah. So back to you, Emma, and you and Dr. Subramaniam have been behind the bringing out this in the open right from the start. So you're the one who's been watching this case very closely. So a lot of the people do not even know what this is all about. So Emma, it is up to you to let them all know what is the scenario today.
Actually, there are three of us. One is Gopi Krishna, who is the journalist and pioneer, and he's the pioneer in breaking down the 2G scam also. And he's the person who's supposed to have brought certain details to Dr. Swami. Of course, there are quite a few people whom I don't want to name, but I know quite a few of them, including Sandhya Jainji. Others have been at the forefront of bringing out these details. That there is something that has happened within the Congress. So somewhere in 2012, I got a call from Dr. Swami asking me whether I would be a witness in a particular matter. So I said, since it was Dr. Swami, just a minute, I'll put on the
Yeah, yeah.
power is going off in the.
Okay, okay.
So I'll have to be careful about the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can move on to the phone if it goes completely.
No. It's now the computer is on. Okay. So
Yeah.
when Dr. Swami asked me, I was very casually, I thought he's asking me something. So I agreed. Then there was Gurmurti ji, Swami, and others who drafted this petition. And we got the entire thing done in somewhere around 2012 end or early 2013. And Dr. Swami had filed it after a lot of difficulty. No magistrate was ready to even touch it by seeing the name Sonia Gandhi. So luckily we had one very young magistrate by name Gomati Minocha. Gomati Minocha. And she heard us in 13. So slowly it used to go on to 14. Then by around April, May, it started rapidly. Rapidly means once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks, we used to get hearing. May, we had 3 hearing. June, we had 2, something like that. And by June first week, by the time Modi had also been sworn in, these orders were reserved. We were keeping our fingers crossed as to what it would be. And suddenly, one fine day, 26th of June, the order was given that the Queen, the Prince, and all the others were all to appear before them. And it was something unheard of that the Queen has to appear before a magistrate court, and what a shame it was to come to the magistrate court. So immediately they went to the Delhi High Court, asked for a stay. And the court probably gave a stay, but it went through it and all these things. It went on till December 2015. In fact, December 1, 2015, we had huge floods in Chennai.
Yeah.
Our city was drowned and everything. So by 6th or 7th, we just started moving. And that day I got a news that the National Herald order is going to be pronounced, and Dr. Swami also rushed back he was in Vijayawada, he rushed back from Vijayawada to Delhi, and again it was brought back and things like that. So then from then on, it has been a roller coaster drive on the trial court, and the trial court would not look into it, and a variety of reasons. The Congress used to protest. Then for every damn thing, they used to go to the higher court and get a stay, and then they used to, somehow or the other, it used to come back to the lower court. Again, the trial will start. Again, this would happen. Then the last 2-3 years, because of the corona, they said all our councils are aged. They are not able to come, and things drifted. Meanwhile, we did two interesting things. I told you the order came in 26th of June 2014. Immediately, once the order was there, I immediately went to the Enforcement Directorate office along with Dr. Swami and Dr. Roxana Swami, and we filed a complaint to the ED. So we opened the next front. One was, of course, on the main IPC cases. One was on the money laundering. The third one we did was to write to the income tax and say that you also look into the matter. By 2017 or 18, the income tax suddenly woke up and wanted to reopen the assessment year for Young India for the year 11, 12 or something like that. And they also cancelled the 12AA certificate for the Young India, and they went about it in a very clinical fashion. And between 2017 or 18 and 2019 or 20, the income tax officer, this is for people who actually are questioning that there is a witch hunt. Obviously, if there is a witch, there will be a witch hunt. So you know what I mean. So as far as the income tax is concerned, on 40 occasions, spread over 820 days or something like that, the income tax officer asked the three people, AJL, Young India, and the Congress party, to come with the details. And what was the most fundamental detail the income tax officer was asking was, get me the details on which and when and how, where, and what is the mode by which Congress is supposed to have lent 90 crores to AJL. It's a simple question. You gave 90 crores according to you to Congress party. So you are supposed to tell Congress party to AJL. So Congress party or AJL has to come with the records and say, we got 90 crores or we gave 90 crores. On this day, 13th March, we gave 10 crores. Then this day, we gave 12 crores. Actually, the core of the issue is it is a bogus entry. Neither Congress gave 90 crores, neither did AJL receive 90 crores. This is the scam. The beginning of the scam is this 90 crores. That is what mother and son are telling the ED, that look, this was managed by Motilal Vora, because Motilal Vora is the treasurer of Congress party, and Motilal Vora is also the chairman of AJL. So it was easy for Motilal Vora as treasurer to say, I have paid Motilal Vora, the chairman of AJL, 90 crores. So it was very simple. So Motilal Vora created this fiction. Now, all this happened. Then in 2013 or 12, I think after this loan was built into the books, one of the most intelligent lawyers of the Congress, and he hails from my state, and he was the former home minister, finance minister, but I will not name him. I will not name him because that is my Chidambara Rahasyam. I will not name him. So this man gave this advice. It is rumored, and it is not, nobody has confirmed to me. But in Delhi, rumors are more correct than the official gazette. So they gave this man, along with the two past presidents of ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, of which I am a very proud member, had given this advice that, look, what do you do? 90 crores of loan, AJL as per books has to repay Congress party. Let us not pay this money. And let Congress party not demand this money. Now let us assume, Meera, I pay you 1 crore of rupees. Would you not think I will come and ask you sometime that please give me my 1 crore, which I given you, poor fellow? Huh? And you would also say that, okay, I will not, I don't have money, I don't have money, or I have money, I can't pay you, whatever. No such demand, no such replies. Then by 2012, they float a company called Young India. It was neither young nor Indian. Okay. It was completely, I can understand it to be called a young Italian company, but it was called Young Indian company. I don't know why. Now, this company was sprouted with a paid-up capital of 5 lakh rupees. And who are the shareholders? Mother had 38%, son had 38%. I don't know why they left the daughter, but mother had and son had 76%. Then the same Motilal Vora, Oscar Fernandez, Suman Dubey, Sam Pitroda, the lapdogs of the Congress party and the family, all of them combined together, and 5 lakh rupees of paid up capital, and Suman Dubey and this, I think Sam Pitroda were the directors. Okay. Now, 5 lakh rupee company comes and tells the Congress party that, look, you have to recover 90 crores from AJL. You are not able to recover 90 crores. So it has become a recovery agent. Like all mafias are basically recovery agents. See, if you look at Vasul Raja, MBBS, all these things, you will find the chief protagonist playing the role of Vasul Rajas, who are basically collecting agents, recovery agents. So Congress party gave that right to the first family to recover 90 crores of money that AJL owes Congress party. And they said, you recover whatever you want from AJL, no problem. Pay us only 50 lakhs. We transfer the right. We transfer the right to recover the money to AJL, of AJL to Young India. So Young India will now recover money from AJL, and Congress party was happy to get 50 lakh rupees. So Congress party then, for the balance 89.5 crores, which it has to still in its book recover, said bad debts. We are unable to recover. We close our books. We wash off everything. Out of 90 crores, we recover 50 lakhs. And that too money has come from Young India, and 89.5 crores written off. Now, at this point, when you remember, I was in 2014 before the trial court, Gomati Minocha, magistrate, and I wanted to present my case. At the time, I was looking at how do I present this case, because I should get some details.
Yeah.
You won't believe, somebody from the Congress party, if I say this will be stunning. Somebody from the Congress party gave me the balance sheet, income tax returns of 2011-12 of the Congress party, in which 89.5 crores were written off. So I went to the Honorable Magistrate and said, Your Honors, look at it. How do you know? I said, I got this. And she said, from where? I said, look, I got it. That's all I can say. And if I am wrong, you can penalize me. But on oath, I tell you that this is the income tax return filed by Congress party, in which 89.5 crores has been written off. So Congress party, khatam. Now come to AJL and Young India. Young India now has to recover 90 crores from AJL. Now what does Young India go and tell AJL? Okay, do you have money? He said no money, because AJL was having huge assets, but did not have money on its packet to pay 90 crores. It had 2,000 crores of assets, but nothing in its bank to pay Young India 90 crores. So Young India tells them, don't worry. For the 90 crores, give me 9 crore shares of 10 rupees. So 9 crore shares of 10 rupees of AJL was issued to Young India. Now Young India is a paid up capital of 5 lakhs, but it gets shares of 90 crore rupees paper worth. At least on paper, it is worth 90 crore rupees, 9 crore shares of 10 rupees each. Now, this was a gift. Now, those of you who know fundamentals of accounting, there is always something called double entry bookkeeping. It is called double entry. You have to debit something and credit something. But here you got something. You debit the shares. But what did you give? You didn't give anything. So they did not pass a book entry. They could not have passed because it is against the canon of double entry. So they wrote in their books, we got the shares of 9 crores, so many shares of 10 rupees each, valued at nil. And okay, now that is how they settle their books. Now come to AJL. AJL had 9 lakh shares issued previously, and this was spread over 760 shareholders or something like that. Now the 761st shareholder is this Young Indian, right? The 767th fellow is this Young Indian who has got 9 crore shares. Now the total paid up capital of this company is 9 crore shares now and 9 lakh shares previously. 9 crore, 9 lakhs. So the 761st fellow now owns roughly 99% shares of AJL, and 1% share is held by 760 people spread over several families, including Justice Kajju's family and so many others' family. Now, the interesting part, in Companies Act, when you issue share to a new fellow who is not the existing list of shareholders, you are supposed to mention who you are giving the shares, why you are giving the shares, what will be the consequences, what will be the manner in which it will be given. They hired some Lallu Panju chartered accountant or company secretary. That fellow told, if you issue 9 crore share to Young India, there will be no change in the board or any management control. Can you believe it? And some of this, okay, so they misled the shareholders. Not only that, none of these notices were ever posted to the 760 shareholders. That is why Justice Kajju says, I am not getting the papers. I did not get any notices. I did not get any message from the company. It was absolutely mafia style operation writ large. Okay, book entry is bogus, notice is misleading, nothing is posted. So this is absolutely done. So Young India became a wholly owned or 99% holding company of AJL. AJL has around, according to income tax, 400-500 crores of assets. According to market rumors, the value of those assets is around 2,500 to 3,000 crores. My sources in ED tell me it is around 2,000 crores. So that value of the entire assets is held by AJL. Just 1% of it, 20 crores, is held by 760 people, and balance 1980 crores or 2,000 crores is held by Young India. And who owns Young India? The mother and the son. Now, the defense of the Congress party is repeatedly that this is a not-for-profit company. We are basically a company which is into charitable things. We are for the secular, democratic, socialist ideals of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. We started this. All sorts of motherhood statements they usually make. Now they made this with the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court said, get lost. They went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court dismissed their SLP. Then during the income tax proceeding, they went to Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court slippered them once. Then they went to the double bench, which is the bench of two judges. They slippered them 4 times over. So everywhere they got very badly beaten by the courts, and no court said you were to start this operations of Young India or AJL. In fact, in 2012, Mr. Gopi Krishna very cleverly wrote to our Rahul Gandhi and asked a question. Now that you have taken over AJL, are you going to start National Herald newspaper? Are you going to do something? He said, we have no intention of starting this newspaper. And that he showed it to the judge. Look, this is basically an operation to take over the assets. They do not want to actually start this company. So it is mind-boggling. And also the sense of entitlement that the first family has. The first family has enormous entitlement that they refused to go before the income tax authority. They challenged it in the courts. And whenever the courts said, do this, they went to the higher court. Still, they reached the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court either dismisses their SLP so that they come back down. So it is done with a very clear intention, because anybody who is a first-year student of law knows that this is lock, stock, and barrel. Dr. Swami will prove his case. Lock, stock, and barrel, the ED will prove his case. Lock, stock, and barrel, the income tax authorities have come and demolished their thing, and 420 crores of income has been assessed. According to me, somewhere around 120 to 130 crores will be the income tax on that. The tax portion will be 120 to 130 crores, along with penalty, it may be, along with interest, it may be around 80 crores plus 200 crores. Then on top of it, you may have to pay penalty of around 360 crores, which is 560 crores. So if you look at it, income tax, if the assets, in income tax alone, it will be 560 crores payment roughly today. So 500 to 560 crores is what they pay. But unfortunately, Meena, like you and me, they can't pay the tax and say, let us get rid of the monkey. Let us assume there is a problem for me or you. At best with the income tax authority, we go and say, okay, past karma, we do it. But if they pay the tax, they are damned. And if they don't pay the tax, they are doomed. Now, if they pay the tax, that will be an evidence that this is your property, and Dr. Swami will go again and make a huge song and dance in the courts. Now, if they don't pay the tax, the interest rates goes on mounting, and they have to face prosecution under 276 capital C. And you must all understand why we are so particular about income taxes. Income tax is a very peculiar law, wherein up to tribunal stage, you can go and argue on facts. Once you go beyond tribunal to the High Court, under 260 capital A and 260 capital B of the Income Tax Act, you only deal on questions of law. Here there is no law. The question is, did AJL borrow money from Congress party? Answer is no. Did you issue shares to Young India? Answer yes. Determine. Is the mother and son owner of Young India? Answer is yes. Did they put the Young India to any charitable use? The answer is no. Did National Herald start with AJL after takeover by the Gandhis? Answer is no. So, on all these facts, it is crystal clear. It can be like a tutorial to a second standard student, and answer yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and finish. Now, where is the question of law? In fact, courts have gone to this extent. The Income Tax Tribunal, the various courts, all of this have come to this conclusion that the mother and son are the linchpin. These are the words used. They have been doing this to take over the property, and this is all a facade. This facade is created so beautifully, so brilliantly, but unfortunately for them, Gopi Krishna, Sandhya Jainji, Dr. Swami, all these fellows came into the picture and punctured the hole. The balloon was punctured. Otherwise, And God knows how many such transactions have happened in the past also. We do not know. This is caught, and we do not know how many more national heralds are there in the circulation, and we don't even know what it is. But this has come to a stage where they are being caught with they are not with caught the hands in the jar, cookie jar. It is their body is inside the cookie jar. It is completely inside the cookie jar. Now the ED has taken cognizance. ED is moving full throttle after the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal order, and where the facts have been settled. And at best, they can go on an appeal on the questions of law, but not on facts. ED now presumes all these facts as more or less settled. Now they come to a conclusion. Look, we don't know anything. It is all Motilal Vora who has been doing. We were managing the country. We have got greater things to do, like socialism, secularism, all these things. Of course, like probably killing the Palgar sadhus and orchestrating so many other things are happening in the country. So we are looking at these type of things rather than in our own affairs. So it is left to minions like Motilal Vora. But let me tell you, there have been board meetings in the house of Sonia Gandhi at 10 Janpath. There are documents. Not many will know this. This is the only time that Sonia Gandhi's name, sign, everything is available for us. None of us have seen her sign. None of us seen her what she is. So this is the only thing that has happened. So at this point in time, the ED is breaking or breathing down the neck of the Gandhis, and this Chinese Gandhis are to answer a lot of questions, and it is a matter of time. And my demand through your channel would be, I'm sure many of those who are watching this will be watching this from the political side of, I know for a fact that many political people watch your channel. So I would wish that Narendra Modi ji takes the final leap. And we are approaching the 75th year of our independence, where the Prime Minister will be addressing us from the ramparts of the Red Fort. Before he addresses us, it's 10 days from now he'll be addressing. I would like him to come and tell us that Sonia and Rahul have been arrested by the PM under the PMLA by the ED, and this is a demand that is placed because of the overwhelming evidence that is staring at the face of every single investigating agency. It is exploding at our face. It is now coming to a stage where it is a shame to allow them roam freely. They need to be, because they are people of extraordinary influence. They have been running the country for over 10 years, and over 20-30 years in the political landscape of Delhi. Nothing moves unless they actually decide certain things to be moved. Even within the BJP, there are several people who are sympathetic towards the Congress, and some people come out and say a song and dance that, look, if you arrest her, then there will be sympathy and all these things. These political calculations can be kept apart. Okay, these are Indira Gandhi is not Sonia Gandhi, and Sonia Gandhi is not Indira Gandhi. India of 2022 is not India of 1977. Yes, there was a backlash against the Janata Party government for having arrested Indira Gandhi. But today, if you think 8 years of hard work of Modi ji, of his superb governance, of the infrastructure that has been developed, of social welfare schemes that have been put in, all can be blown away by one arrest of Sonia Gandhi, then we are doing a great disservice to the service provided to us by Modi government. I think we are on a strong footing, and I think we are a very matured nation. We now have to, after last week's judgment of Justice Kanvilkar of the Supreme Court, I think there is no way but the road to Tihar is all cleared of all debris, all barricades, everything. The crorepati have to become Tiharpati necessarily, and the multi-crorepatis have to become multi-month Tiharpatis. So they have to go there, they have to stay there. The evidences, further things have to be collected if necessary. And today bail becomes extremely difficult in case of PMLA cases, where the onus is, the burden shifts to the people to prove that they have not done something wrong. Now, if they had so much love for the Congress party, love, look at it. This is the core issue. If really the mother and son had love for the Congress party, I don't want them to love me or my country. That's beyond them. I don't expect them to love India. I don't love them to love ordinary people of this country. But if they had any sense of at least some belonging to the Congress party, should they have not given the shares of AJL to the Congress party? Should they have not said, look, who are we to take 99 crores shares of AJL? Who are we? We are interlopers to the transaction. The money was given by the Congress party. The Congress party should get the rightful share. Whether it is dud shares, whether it is nothing, whether it is valued at 2,000 crores, is not us. I would not have put my hand into that particular transaction. I am sure no honorable Indian would have ever put it. This shows avarice. This shows the mindset of the mafia. This is how mafia works. This they finally do. Of course, they make enormous profits with outsiders, but finally their resting point is to dominate their own people who believe that their own brothers, sisters. That is where mafioso's final termination point is, and this is what has come to it. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all these people have finally looted the Congress party.
Yeah.
It is not, they have not looted me. They have not looted you, Meena. They have looted the Congress party. The ordinary worker who still believes. You may have disagreements with the Congress worker on ideology. That's entirely different. But look at it. The poor fellow puts 10 rupees, 20 rupees. You know, my grandfather used to put, they were called foreigner members. They were just foreigners. And they used to put 25 paisa to become a Congress member. And that was the pride that they had. These are the people who gave money to the Congress. And this is the how AJL was also built. Purushottam Das Tandon, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Kajju's father, Justice Kajju's father, great luminaries who worked for our independence were the people who started AJL. And look at this mafia. This mafia comes and says, hell to Congress, hell to AJL. AJL is probably our heritage of our independence movement. You cannot be so cavalier about it. Damn it. This is something probably we have to, if ED goes well, I think it's a matter of day or two when they attach the shares of Young India in the hands of AJL and probably take it away. And once it is confiscated, I think it must be nationalized, and this shares must be put to good use. Or government may probably think of nationalizing AJL through the shares that as it has been confiscated, and probably take the matter to a logical conclusion, because it is all priceless heritage. You remember this. This is not something that it's a building. It's and I don't know why Modi government has still allowed the passport kendra to be there. I think at least the least it can do is the external affairs minister can shut down the passport kendra. I think 80 lakh rupees of rent are flowing into these people. I think that must be stopped. The share must be attached. The people must be arrested. The dramatis personae in this sordid drama must be arrested. And I only pray that on 75th year, when we complete our 75th years of independence, and we are now talking about the Swarnim Yatra or Swarnakal, as the Prime Minister says, for the next 25 years, all these have to be actually begun by cleansing our society of corruption. And there is no other way. I'll tell you, the end of corruption will be only achieved when you put the highest in the land in their place and tell them that you have been corrupt and you have to pay your price. The day Sonia Gandhi is arrested, the day Rahul Gandhi is arrested for corruption, not for any other reason, for corruption, and that is the day India will start its real fight against corruption. This is not going to be as much politically symbolic. And I care two hoots for politics. I want my country, my society to be free of corruption. And that is what will be a quantum leap. 100 different laws, CBC, CBI, ED cannot cleanse the society of this corruption. If you arrest one person of the caliber and of the stature of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Having said that, I also know there will be people who will start abusing Modi if he's not able
Yeah.
to do. Please understand, Modi has more information put together than all of us. So he is definitely working to a plan. And I can tell you, I have been very frustrated because I have been the person who has been standing along with Dr. Swami since 2012. 47 degrees Celsius was the temperature in May 2014 when we used to go to the trial court and we used to argue in a court where there was no AC. Virtually, the fan used to rotate at the second speed or the third speed. Virtually, it was a cauldron there, and we have done that. But today after 10 years, with more wisdom with me, I can tell you for only one fact that let us play and leave it to the political leadership of the country to take the ultimate decision whether she has to be arrested or not. But as a citizen, not as an activist who has been party to it, but as a citizen, I'm sure many of your viewers are watching this, must join me and pray to Modi ji to arrest Sonia and Rahul. And we also assure you, sir, we also assure you that we solidly will stand by you with your decision, whatever it is. But if you arrest, nothing like it. But if you don't arrest, yet we will be with you. But we will be with you come what may. And if you arrest, this will be the biggest signal that we will give to the Indian community, the country, the society, and the Committee of Nations that we are not going to budge an inch. I know for a fact that there will be pressure right from the Vatican to the Americans that why do you touch the Queen? She cannot be touched. But if India has to become a superpower, if India has to emerge in the Committee of Nations as a great superpower, we need to put our house in order internally ourselves. And that will be a message that we are no longer a banana republic. We are towards our own, we are a sovereign country. We are a very proud people. We have our laws, we have our systems, we have our political leadership, which is far matured, and it will not be guided by external forces. I will just stop here. I think I have given an overview.
Yeah.
I've given
but what happens? Yeah, MR, what happens is if they know that they're going to end up in jail, what happens if they disappear overnight by taking a private chartered flight and moving out?
Simple. Give them a red corner notice and get them arrested, bring them here. Simple. You get a red corner notice to the Interpol. If the Modi government wants any help, I'm ready to do it free of cost.
But will their country easily do that?
Now, you presume that they will run away. I don't presume. Their body language is one to suggest that they will stay here. And they are getting some sort of an indication that nothing will happen. But there is also a palpable panic because Modi is not giving them any clue of what he is doing. He's blowing hot and cold and keeping them guessing. That's the truth of the matter. Nobody in Delhi knows what Modi ji will decide. So that is why, think about it. Let us assume Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister now. Barka Dutt would know whether she's getting arrested at 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. and she would be discussing in NDTV or any other channel. All these things are a past. Even probably a few in the PMO would know it, and nobody else knows it. PMO and probably the Director of Enforcement Directorate would know it. So I would guess they would not flee this country. I would also guess that arrest is not going to happen so easily. I would also venture to say there may be some sort of a few eruptions here and there in terms of violence. But do you think there are enough congressmen who will hit the street? I don't think so. The Congress has lost its. Hardly there is any congressman who would bother about Sonia and Rahul Gandhi's arrest. And in fact, the remnant of the Congress will be jubilant that they wanted to get rid of this bloody liability, and somehow or the other Modi ji has done it. They would be secretly opening their closets and praying for Modi ji to have done the unthinkable, that you have cleansed the liability of our side, and from now on a new strong Gandhi-less Congress, which will be a new avatar that would come in. So you also run a risk. Modi also runs a risk of creating a new Congress by arresting them. So there will be several calculations at play. But from a purely activist point of view, from a simple Indian point of view, as a citizen of this country, as a tax-paying, honest citizen of this country, I would only pray they must be arrested. Consequences, you don't think too much of it.
Yeah.
I think Modi ji, you are being besieged by history of finishing off corruption in this country. With one swift blow, you can get rid of corruption. And the day has come for you to take the Narasimha avatar and finish off corruption.
Yeah. So, do you think this will happen before August 15th or after?
That's my demand and prayer. But if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be some of those extreme right wingers who would come and abuse Modi and say, "Oh, this guy is spineless" and other thing. I'm not that. I know how much painstaking work has gone into this. What I would have revealed in your last 20-30 minutes is probably 1/1,000,000th of what I know, and what I know is 1/1,000,000th of the total facts. So you can understand your very little understanding is there, because there are so many other complications which have not gone into it. Yes, there will be a huge repercussion, but this repercussion, as we see, is probably limited to Latians Delhi. Now, today, if you ask, Sonia Gandhi is arrested in, say, a city like Bangalore and in Chennai, nobody bothers. Bangalore anyhow is having traffic jams. You don't know for what reason there is a traffic jam, but there is a traffic jam in Bangalore. Whereas in Chennai, we will not even bother. Bombay will not bother. Say a city like Jaipur will not bother, Ahmedabad will not bother, Calcutta will not bother, Kochi will not bother. So what is this? After all, this is the nation is now waiting with a bated breath that she has to be arrested. So this will go back and forth, but I would personally believe a time has come. I would personally believe, but I would go by the judgment of the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Also, you would have noticed, Emma, that their body language shows very clearly that they're losing. For example, Rahul Gandhi looks so old. Somehow we have reconciled him.
Yeah, he looks rattled. Sonia looks rattled. They never thought that they will live in their lifetime where they have to go and sit before a very junior officer of the grade of assistant director or deputy director in ED and answer the questions like, who is your father's name? Where did you study? What is your qualification? All sorts of very, very personal, inconvenient questions that they have to probably give their Aadhaar number, PAN card, or your passport details. And probably there could be a question, why did you go to Italy in 2013? What was the reason? So all sorts of questioning, they would never have even dreamt about it. In the sense, it would be beyond them. And I think for this reason, that they have been brought to the ground level, where they are flying 38,000 feet above sea level. I think the only credit goes to Dr. Swami. I think the man has been relentless in his pursuit of truth, and he has not budged an inch. And whenever we had discussions about this matter, I can see Dr. Swami growing young by at least 50 years. I can see a 35-year-old man before me coming with all full zest and energy. This I have learned such it has been a great training for me with a mobile university, I would call him, on how to deal with things. The man's courage, the man's patience. Whenever we used to get some sort of a setback from the court, I have never seen him flinch, happily laugh it away and assure the team that, look, it's a minor setback. Tomorrow I will reverse it. Tomorrow may never come, but that's a different thing. But the man's courage and patience, admirable in the sense, never have seen him said that system is bad, this judge is bad, this is an idiotic judge. Nothing. Never I have seen him, even the most private of conversation, blame anybody. He says we have to go prepared, we have to pull ourselves, we have to present our case. Amazing learning for me.
But then, MR, many people like Smriti Irani have been taking credit for putting them in this position.
No, see, I would only say that on this case of National Herald, probably there are very few BJP guys who have even read the papers and who have understood this matter. So it is a very complex, difficult legal transaction to understand. And it is not for everybody to say that there have been occasions where even BJP spokespersons have said this has happened, this has happened. But I can assure you, in 2016, the then finance minister, Shri Jaitley ji, said this, that National Herald and BJP has no sambandh. It's one of the MPs of BJP who has filed this case. And technically it's a fact till ED stepped in. And why did ED step in? Again, because Dr. Swami had filed this complaint in 2014, which I drafted. And why did ED was compelled to start this now? Because Swami wrote to the income tax authorities in 2016 or 2017 stating that you must inquire into it. And that was because he wrote to the Prime Minister, he wrote to the CBDT chairman, he wrote to so many other people. And so they had to look into it. And since this was already taken cognizance by the magistrate court, income tax had to necessarily reopen the assessment under 147 of the Income Tax Act. So they reopened. Having reopened, they had to cancel the certificate. Having cancelled the certificate and reopened it, they went to it in a logical manner. They issued notices. And to the bad luck of the Congress, they did not come and give the details of 90 odd crore. That is where the scam starts exploding. So the income tax authorities now smell a rat. They go for deep dive, they do a complete search, and they come to a conclusion this whole thing is a bogus transaction, lift the corporate wheel and say that, look, this particular mother and son have fooled everybody. This is a sham transaction. This is a make-believe transaction. This is not intended to do business, but is basically intended to gap the property. And the Young India has been levied with tax. Having come to this far, the enforcement directorate is now left with a fait accompli. It has to now take matters to a logical conclusion. And even if the enforcement directorate does not do it, I am sure the prosecution section of the income tax side will now start issuing 276C to the Congress party, to the Congress leaders, which is Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. And I think it is end game for them. It is end game for them. Probably it is a matter of time. That I don't know when it. I'm not a Jyotish. I'm not privy to the mind of the Honorable Prime Minister. But it is end game for the Congress leaders.
Yeah. Neera is asking, will PM Modi get bad press from woke Western media in the case of the arrest of the Gandhis?
No, if he doesn't arrest, is the woke media going to say that he's the hero? Either way, he's being lampooned. So one more reason why he can get lampooned. I don't think so. That is weighing on the Prime Minister's mind.
So when this case finally sees its end, can Dr. Swami take up the issue of SSR's death? If that happens, Bollywood will be finished. We all want that to happen.
I think the SSR case will get some traction after 15th August when the cabinet in the Maharashtra is formed. I don't know why it's taking such a long time to form the cabinet. But once it is done, I think it will take some traction. Swami or no Swami, I think the CBI, I will bet it on CBI because Swami cannot prove what happened in that flat on that particular night. It is only the CBI which can do, and it's only the investigating agency that requires to be done, that requires it to do it.
Yeah. So on that note, I think MR, we can close the session. Thank you for I know that you were running here and there, and you just came running to attend our session and to clear everything because people were very curious. And now you've given us a clear picture of what's happening. And let us anticipate that something good will happen. What will, if we get this money back, what will we do with it?
No, you don't get the money back. You will get only the shares back. As I said, 9 crores of shares is what is the proceeds of crime under the PMLA. This will be first attached, and then this will be probably confiscated, auctioned. And I don't want this to be auctioned. That's my humble plea. I don't want somebody to build a restaurant there or a hotel there. I want this. This is a national heritage. Let us be clear about it. AJL is built on the blood of our freedom fighters. There was some other Hindi newspaper also of National Herald. I'm sorry, there is some Urdu newspaper also, a Hindi newspaper, and a English newspaper. English newspaper went with the National Herald title. So these are, and Jawaharlal Nehru himself was the editor of it. So this is not some property of some anybody else. This is not some private property that Jawaharlal Nehru has given. This is not even your Anand Bhavan. Anand Bhavan has been nationalized. So likewise, this is something that has to be treasured. This is to be left as a legacy for our future generation to look and say, look at people like Jawaharlal Nehru were there. And they are the people who ran this newspaper. They are the people who used to communicate with the masses. Remember, some 90 years back, you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have WhatsApp, you didn't have Twitter, you didn't have Facebook, you didn't have YouTube, and you had to communicate with the masses in their language, and the illiteracy rate was less than 15%. So the trouble that the people had in communicating, and these were all their instrumentalities. So you have to keep that in mind as to what is the struggle that went behind running these newspapers. And I can understand I can understand this generation of ours not having a link with or having an emotional connect with the National Herald. But congressmen, and I can even understand a normal congressman, but not the leaders or not the Congress president, have a bloody connect with the Young Herald, Young India, through Young India, AJL and AJL National Herald. You should have preserved it like your holy grail. It is something to be preserved. It is something that is nationalized. It has to be preserved as some sort of a temple. But what they have done is to privatize it, meaning that you have broken the sanctity of that particular entity. You have broken, you have thought it that is there for the loot. You have violated the sanctity. I feel very strongly about it as somebody who would have been we are all probably 3 generations back, we were all hardcore Congressies like many families in India because there was no other party. And today I feel that my forefathers or my grandfather or grandmother who had they come about and listened to this, even their heart will blast itself off, because they would not even think that there is something called privatization of a public property within the Congress by the Congress president. This is what I think is something that I feel very strongly about. Rest all is probably can be ignored, and even if we can give a general pardon to her. But the inviolable sanctity of National Herald, AJL, as an edifice of our independence movement is inviolable. You have violated the sanctity, just like you have violated the sanctity of a woman. That is what you have done today. And that, I think, I will never forgive her. I will never pardon her. I should never, and I think the nation should never even pardon her, because what she has done is the utmost sacrilege. This something that you could have even closed down the company. That's a different thing. But you have privatized a national treasure, and that is, I think, my heart doesn't take it.
So just some comments from them. See, Devanushi says, thank you immensely, Mr. MRV and Meena. Great learning session. Ria says, thank you, Meena and MRV. Very informative. Then comes, what about the backlog of taxes that have been evaded?
Probably that will be a very big challenge. Who will get the first hold? Whether it will be the income tax authority who will first liquidate the property and take the 500 odd crores with penalty, or whether it is the ED. As far as I understand, the ED has a better right, because the ED's Act says that notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time in force, they are the supreme. So ED will probably have first say by auctioning the shares. And unless they give a guarantee that income tax fellows will not charge the assets and take away the assets from the company, no, the shares will come to zero value. What is the value of the share? The shares are backed by the assets that the company owns. If the company's assets are taken away by the income tax authorities, the shares will have no value. Probably there needs to be some sort of a clarity in this. Probably an ordinance has to be floated to settle the issue, but that is a long time off. First, let us wait, enjoy, and see whether these two, mother and son, are going to Tihar. From Crorepati to Tiharpati. Let us make the demand.
Yeah. Imani says, lovely session. No words. Thank you, both of you again.
Thank
so
you.
All of them are just absolutely thankful to you, Emma, and thank you for your time. And good night to be see you again.
Sure. Thank you.